All right, everybody, what's happening? How y'all doing today? Welcome to another edition of SWAC Smoke. We 23 episodes in, and we making the march to 30. Um, Honestly, never thought this we get past two or three, because I just didn't know how I was gonna do with two shows. But man, we doing good. We marching on down. We growing every day. So, how you doing today, DJ?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Pretty good.
All right, man. So it's been an interesting week already. We got basketball going on. Um, Prairie View finally hired a coach, so we could talk about that. Couple other things going on. You want to go ahead and start off with that?
Yeah, what you want to start with? We can start out with the Prairie View coaching hire.
All right.
It took them long enough. I think they could have been named him head coach. Why they take all this time? I think it was
Yeah,
a
I mean,
decent hire.
I. I don't, again, this is, kind of like a guy who doesn't have head coaching experience, but he's been in this program for 11 years. So if anybody knows the pulse of Prairie View football, is him. I mean, he's been there through Coach Simmons, Coach Northern, and Coach Dooley. So he's been around. So he knows what Prairie View football is, and he knows, the landscape. So like you said, this is a move that probably could have been there from day one when they put the interim tag on him. I know they probably had some other ideas, but when things started falling through, you probably should have just went ahead and went with the short thing because you got a guy there and he wanted the job, and so now he's ready. So we'll see what he do.
What was the other names that was thrown out there? I kept saying uh, your guy Dawson Odom. I kept seeing his name
Yeah,
out there. People saying he was interested.
I heard Odom's, but I never really put too much stock into that myself. I didn't really know, but I mean, maybe he wanted to get back into the SWAC. I heard KJ Black, former Prairie View quarterback, Kevin Sumlin, who is now the head coach of the Houston Gamblers of the USFL. So he got a job like today or yesterday. Um, TC Taylor was another name I heard. Um, and other than that, I didn't really hear too many other names, at least not nothing concrete. But that's pretty much the name that I heard. And then obviously Bubba McDowell got the job because I guess they struck out on a lot of people, or they just didn't really go after a lot of people. I don't really understand this process, what they went through. So I don't know. It's just weird to me. I don't know if they got turned down by a lot of people, or if they just didn't really look. So I was really baffled by this coaching search, but I think it's a good move to start.
Well, let me ask you this: is there a place, um, are the coaching list or people who actually interview for those jobs? Is that public information?
I know most. I think I know most schools. Like if people apply, I think you can like request that kind of stuff because like there's a state school, so that's public information. But as far as like candidates and interviewing, I I haven't really. I don't know anywhere off top. I know with a lot of major schools, they always put the candidates out there. But with HBCU football, you really don't get that. You might get some names from some people if you know anybody in that area or whatever. But I don't know anything concrete on who can point you in that direction other than piecing together what people say.
Yeah, I always wondered that. Like, can we at least find out part of who the candidates were? In those situations, like legit
Yeah, I mean,
candidates.
always. That's what I always wanted to know because, like, you get a lot of people throwing names around, but you don't get any concrete names. So it would have been interesting to know who actually put in for this job and maybe interviewed. If they, if it came down to one or two people, or if this just was a man, we ain't got nobody else. So, bro, this your job now. I hope it wasn't that, but without knowing, that's what it feels like. I don't want to make that be a thing, but that's what it feels like. Like you go out at night and you can't pick up nobody.
Yeah.
So you find that one girl that you already know that's
Yeah.
not gonna say no. So you call her and say, "Hey, baby, what's up?" But
Yeah.
that's what I feel like. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I feel like with this situation.
Well, moving on from that, what you think about? I don't know if you seen the tweet Coach Simmons put out about Marquise Bell and the guy from the Senior Bowl reaching back out, kind of like being a little snappy with him. But do you feel like SWAC players are like purposely snubbed from those games? And do you feel like Coach Simmons was wrong by going to Twitter? A lot of people talking about he shouldn't be on Twitter saying that, and this and that.
I don't know about if they're being purposely snubbed, but I do think some of those guys are being overlooked. Marquise Bell is a hell of a football player. He's an All-American, not just All Conference, but he's an All-American. And I don't have a problem with Coach Simmons, doing whatever avenue he needs to, market his player. I mean, we have to take advantage of any opportunity that we get. And if that's what it takes to sell your player, then I think that's what he should do. Now, yeah, like you said, the guy made a little snappy remark, but he knows that Marquise Bell is a very worthy candidate for that position. So, a guy like that, I really think you should be able to find a spot for him. So I don't have a problem with a coach, making that kind of statement, because if he don't do it there, then it's not going to get noticed at all. So maybe him making noise about it now would open the door for somebody else, in another situation.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I feel like we should have more of that. Honestly, should have been the coach. It should have been us as SWAC fans. We got to start applying the pressure because when we sitting back waiting on they'll find you, which is cool, but also you got to put yourself out there too to be found. So I feel like it's all of our responsibility to make sure our players are pushed to the forefront.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like we getting this big, burst exposure right now, and people are talking about HBCU football and HBCU sports in general. So market your guys. What I mean? Let's we know that these guys can play. We know, Marquise Bell is a hell of a player, but those scouts know that too. But they need to be made aware that people want to see these guys in their game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole another set of eyes that'll watch that game if somebody they know is playing. So I think we really should kind of beat that drum for guys like that.
Speaking of HBCUs, I don't know how true this is, but I don't know if you've seen that little flyer going around with UAPB on it saying the Ohio Valley Conference looking to kind of add that. Man, come on, man. If UAPB was to even entertain that, that would be, I would question everything about that school if they even entertain that move. There is no benefit. They already don't have a fan base, right? The only little bit we do have is because we play Southern, Grambling, Jackson, when those people come into town. Imagine them playing Austin P at home. Nobody is going to see that. No.
When I saw this afternoon, and my first thought was I knew what your answer was gonna be, but I still was gonna ask you just because that's your school. But I feel like whenever these conference expansions come up, I think they just throw in these schools' names in the mix to start conversation, because nobody, Tennessee State, they in OVC, they not fully happy. You can't tell me they fully happy
No.
being there. So if they could leave at any point, they would. That conference is basically hanging on anyway, because they doing scheduling alliances with the Southland and all of that kind of stuff to kind of keep things going. And I mean, any team from the SWAC would be crazy to join that league right now. I mean, if you want to join, you come over here. We can make space for somebody if they want to join. Hey, you want to come over and be a part of this? That's fine, but we don't need to leave. And like you said, I highly, highly doubt that Pine Bluff would leave. And if somebody actually was okay with that, I would honestly question their sanity because right now that's just not a good move.
Not at all, and that's just crazy. But I still get an inkling that if as long as Dion is at Jackson State, if he's there for any length of time, I feel like he's gonna try to move Jackson State. I feel like he's willing. Now, whether the SWAC and the president of Jackson State, whether anybody in that area is okay with that, that's one thing. But I think if Dion could do it, I think in a few years, I think he really would try to do that because he's speaking
Yeah, I
about
think
doing too much right now. He hinting around at it.
yeah, I think they're gonna have those eyes out, but like this comment said here, we should, I wouldn't be, I would not be against a HBCU super conference. I know a lot of people talked about that a few times now. You had to work out the travel and all that kind of stuff, but if you could take, you know, some, like the Tennessee State, Hampton, North Carolina A&T, couple other MEAC teams, some SWAC teams, whatever, put it together, and go from there. I think that would be a good move. But right now, I don't really see anything happening. But like you said, Jackson State probably will be looking, just because of their brand growing and the attention that they get. And a name I heard for many years over and over was Alabama State. The last 5 or 6 years, I always heard their name coming up from outside people. So, schools like that, I think you're gonna have to keep an eye out on, because we don't know what the landscape is gonna be in 10 years. So you're always gonna monitor, but I don't really see anything happening. But as sports are crazy, so you just don't never know.
Yeah, I like that the HBCU Super Conference idea, and with that being able to add their own playoff system or postseason system within that, I would still keep the Celebration Bowl, but I would also figure out a way to work out some type of postseason competition within the Super Conference, and I think that would be extremely beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time to pool that money, man, get things going because like I said, in 10, 15 years, man, college football landscape is not going to be the same.
Oh
So
no.
the dominoes are already starting to fall. You know, teams are leaving FCS to go to FBS to, play in second tier, third tier bowls. So that tells you what this system is like. Because if a team that is very successful wants to leave, that tells you something. So I think we need to get ahead of the game and start to kind of make our own mark. So I would definitely be in favor of a move like that.
What you think about I believe he's the number one running back in Florida, supposed to be taking visits to FAMU and Jackson State. You think we can actually
Oh
pull that off?
yeah, I think is what's his name? Richard Johnson, I think his name or something like that.
Yeah, I think
I like it, man. I I like it. I think even if these guys don't come to our schools, the fact that they are taking visits now and they letting people know that they want to take visits now, I think that makes it better for the next level of guy. The
right.
top guy may not come, but you can get that next top guy, which is still a great player. So, like I said, on signing day, Shaz Preston, who's one of the top receivers in the state of Louisiana, he had Southern hat on the table in his top five. Nobody really talked about it, but that's a good look. A guy who's a high 4-star athlete, you know, his own choice of schools, and Southern's hat is on the table with them. So, you know, that's the kind of thing that we have to start to do. And I think guys are starting to make that wave, so we get a few of these guys to take visits to these schools, somebody else is gonna do it too. So, kids love to follow each other. So if they
Yeah.
see the top guys doing this, then eventually it's gonna start to trickle down. So I like it. I think anything that can grow the brand is great.
I just hope, like I don't know what, that we can land him. If we can land him, man, I think that would really create a shift. Have you heard about these bomb threats too?
Yeah,
supposedly
I
drunk
saw
threats.
that the other day, man. I don't. I mean, it's not funny. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm
Yeah,
not trying to laugh, but it's just the timing is very coincidental, so
right.
to speak. I mean, these people are this. That people are trying to derail a movement, man. When you get things like that, you realize your movement is getting traction,
Right.
and the whole Travis Hunter thing, how upset those people are, and trust me, they still upset, they still salty. That lets you know that this is a serious move, man. This is one kid right now, but people can see the grass slipping away from them. So, we just have to make sure that we stay the course of what we're doing and keep promoting and keep generating that interest in these kids because you don't want it to be a wave. So, anything that we could do to continue to grow this, then we should definitely do it.
Yeah, that's why I said if we was somehow able to get him, that running back, we got to be very careful. I hope our schools have their documentation correct. I hope they do everything they need to do. They need to stay away from kids during their periods, no violations, because they're gonna be dissecting everything one of these schools. We start keep getting number one recruits, it's gonna be over with. Now he didn't.
Yeah, like you said, if we get successful like that, the NCAA will be knocking on the door. So everybody needs to have all their I's dotted and T's crossed. Tyler Hughes, he did not sign with Southern. He actually signed with William. I think he's committed to. I don't know if he signed, but I think he committed to William and Mary. So he withdrew his commitment from Southern not long after Coach Dooley took over. So I don't know if they didn't have have a good relationship, or if he just wanted to look around afterwards. Because when he committed to Southern, his stock really went up. So I think a lot of other schools that came to him. So I was actually surprised he didn't get any FBS offers or any mid-major offers. But I think he wanted to look around. So with the coaching change and everything, I think he just went ahead and went that route. So I wish him the best. I really wish he did sign with Southern because the kid's a tremendous quarterback,
Who did he
one of the top
commit
guys
to?
in Georgia.
Who did
Huh?
he commit? He committed to Rollins. Who was he committed to on that staff?
He committed. He committed. He committed. I guess he committed to Rollins because he committed over the summer.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, we all committed to Rollins over the summer, so I don't blame him.
Yeah.
We all saw greatness over the summer. So I don't know if the season scared him off, the coaching change scared him off, or if just
Yeah.
having more attention, opened up some avenues for him. But he, I really wish he still was in the class, but I wish him the best.
Well, guess we could. You got anything else on football right now?
Um, Not no. Anything else would be one of those, it pop in my head, but no, I'm good right now.
You go ahead and start with basketball, man.
All right, well, I I went to the Texas Southern game this on Monday. No crowd as usual. Although the people who were there were very energetic. So, I mean, if you're not gonna turn out in numbers, you need to turn out with energy. So the crowd was very engaged. Um, Texas Southern men's team, I think they had been off for a couple of weeks, and it showed. They turned the ball over a good bit in that game. I found out Southern is top 5 in the nation in steals per game at like 11 and a half. So Southern gets their hands on the basketball a lot. They can't really rebound and they don't shoot that well, but they defend their butts off. So I want to see how long they can keep that up. But it was a good game, man. It was a chippy game. It was a typical Texas Southern type of game. Always right on the verge of a fight, but nothing happened really. And I know they're gonna be waiting for us when we come back to Houston. But I thought that was a good game. Bethune Cookman picked up a nice win to open up the SWAC season. So they did well. Alabama State got a nice win. Alcorn beat Jackson by 15 in Jackson yesterday. That was a surprise to me. I think it's gonna be a good season, man. I really do, and I do want to say Southern blew the heck out of Prairie View, and Coach Sandy Pugh last night. She talked a lot of trash when she left Southern to go to Prairie View, and we've been giving them that work the whole while she's been there. So that was a nice game there.
Well, I was able to catch PB play Alabama A&M, the girls and the boys, online. Neither team looked that good those nights for sure. I think PB needs a big man. They have no inside presence, which I felt like they lost a lot of that from last year. And they were running a lot of small sets, like 5 guards on the floor at once. And Alabama A&M had like guys like 6'10", 275. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't
Oh
do nothing
Lord,
with him. Yeah, that's crazy. And then like the girls had played good all preseason, and they played very badly the first 2 conference games of the year. So the boys did come away with a win last night versus Alabama State, which it was a pretty impressive win due to the way they were playing early on. So I just kind of still got mixed emotions about them. I just don't. I don't know what type of team you're gonna get night in and night out. They may play well. They may play like they never played before.
yeah, I think that's gonna probably be the mark of this whole season for everybody. I don't really see a team that's like head and shoulders better than everybody else. Like them Texas Southern teams the last few years, or I know a few years ago, Valley had a team like that. A couple Southern teams, Jackson State teams that were like better than everybody else. I think it's gonna be anybody's season, man. It's all gonna be in how you play away from home because in the SWAC everybody play tough at home. So to be able to win those games on the road I think is gonna be the key. Because I don't see a lot of big men in this league. And if you got anybody that can play inside, then I think you're gonna have a good chance. I do think Texas Southern will be a factor in this season, so I wouldn't count them out right now at all.
The Jackson State girls seem to still be rolling. They're about the only ones that still rolling.
Oh yeah, I think now on the women's side, yes, they are head and shoulders above everybody else, and I think they're gonna continue that. It's gonna be hard for anybody to beat them, consistently to make any kind of headway. So I think everybody. I don't want to be too forward, but I think everybody is kind of playing for second right now. Of course, anything can happen, especially in a tournament. But right now, they are going to be a tough team to beat. I do think they have a really good game against Alabama State coming up on Saturday. I think that'll be a good game.
You don't think Southern girls can do nothing with them?
Nobody at Southern can shoot, man. Like Southern's women team, they play good defense. They don't shoot well, and they don't have a lot of size. But I think I think they can hang with them because of their defense. But I just think they don't score enough consistently. They shot the ball well last night, but against Texas Southern, man, they missed so many layups. I think they shot something like 37% or something like that in the whole game from the field. So, Texas Southern turned the ball over like 40 times. So that's the main reason why they won. But they have to find some consistent scoring and in a hurry because, it don't get easier from now on.
Speaking of tournament, how do you make, or even SWAC basketball, how do you make it bigger than what it is now? Do you feel like it doesn't have the steam that football has, or you think it has more steam in terms of support and exposure?
I think number one, I don't think SWAC basketball gets the support that it deserves. I haven't. People say play the tournament in Houston, and that's cool when you got PV, and Texas Southern in the finals. Of course, Houston gonna turn out for that. But if you got like Valley and Alabama State in the finals, it's not gonna happen. Years ago they used to play the tournament in Baton Rouge, and as long as Southern was in it, then then the crowd was there. But if Southern wasn't in it, then nobody was there. So I think it's gonna have to start with increasing the fan support at home games and increasing the buzz about SWAC basketball because I don't think a lot of people really in the SWAC basketball like they should be, because football, everybody follows football, but for whatever reason basketball doesn't get that same support, and until it kind of gets close to that level, then I think the tournament won't really draw, because outside of our fans, the community from whatever city you play in doesn't really get behind it either. So I would probably say your safest bet might be to have the highest seed team host the tournament like some of the smaller conferences do. Maybe that way, as long as there's no upset, you might get a decent crowd. So I don't know what to do with it.
I think I was just gonna say I think that'd probably be the best thing instead of a neutral site, have it at someone's home gym, because I think at least by it being a SWAC at a SWAC location, at least the fans from that town are used to playing against other SWAC teams. So I mean, we kind of will go out to those games just because it's SWAC schools. You know what I mean? And it's right down the street. It's around the corner. So we may go heckle them. We may go there just to be seen. Whatever reason people have to go, I think that would be better than playing it at a neutral site where people got to travel to, you know, I don't think people do that too well for basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I think basketball being what it is, you're not gonna get a lot of people to go to Birmingham or whatever short notice for a basketball game that you don't know if your team gonna make it past that first game. At least playing it at a home site, at least draw those fans there. And if it's not too far away, maybe fans from the other teams will show up then, because they be more apt to show up to, like it's in Jackson at Jackson State. People from Southern might come through, Alcorn might come through, but playing it in like Fort Worth or Dallas, that's a no. There's no. I mean, there's a lot of alumni. All right, man. Something is going on with my phone, so I kind of dropped out for a second. So I guess I'm back now. I don't know what's going on, but the CIAA tournament is definitely very successful. So I don't know if what they do can be replicated, but if it is, then we need to start to learn how to do what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, the SWAC commissioner have they been over there to look at it or talk to them or something? You know what I'm saying? Like they got to figure out a way to generate more money and get more eyes on this SWAC basketball tournament, because it just don't seem like we show up and support it. Like the CIAA tournament is like a national holiday almost. Like, and then I think they have like performances from artists and stuff like that. They make it a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So maybe we need to do that. Treat it like homecoming, because that's how
Yeah, I
they treat
mean,
it.
yeah, I think whatever's cool, we need to explore all avenues, because I think that this tournament can draw well if it's promoted right, and if it's an event. Maybe we could tie in something, Battle of the Bands or something. Maybe that'll get it. Whatever we need to do to kind of draw people in, I think that's what we should do.
Yeah, I think you got to give them more than basketball. Honestly, I think you give them a little bit more, like I say, a concert, or you have stars promoting it and a battle of the bands. I think you do draw a lot more.
Yeah, I think make it, like you say, make it an event. Anything that you do, if you can get outside people to it, I think that increases your opportunity to draw people to the game. So I'm not against anything that it takes to get people into that arena, man. Because once people get in there and they see some good basketball, then I think they'll be apt to come out again. But
Right.
it's got to be something, something got to be done because playing in front of little to no people is just not a good look.
Yeah, it's costing you more to go play it in Birmingham than you're getting in your return. And you can only do that so much.
Yeah, and I think, like if even looking at the SWAC football championship, playing in at home sites, the atmosphere is just so much better. You're drawing a lot of people, and that makes it better. So Richard Young, that's his name, man, the running back from Florida. So
Yeah.
he's gonna take some visits. So I hope it works out, man. I hope everybody roll out the red carpet for him
Yeah.
and make him feel welcome.
Yeah, the whole city
I
need to
got
get
$10
behind that.
to help y'all.
Yeah,
Whatever.
man.
Hey, every little bit count, man. I got $10, so let's
Yeah.
let's make it happen.
Well, I guess only other thing I got on that tournament thing, maybe tie whatever it is to a ticket to the basketball game. So you come to the basketball game, and then whatever else is going on, you get admitted into that. That'd be my thinking.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like like they do with the State Fair Classic in Dallas. You buy a ticket to the game, you get to go to the fair. So if you have like some kind of atmosphere, like a concert or something afterwards, you know,
Yeah.
I don't want to have to do that all the time, but I think to start things out, you need to do whatever you need to get people there. Like the first SWAC championship game they had in Birmingham, they had all SWAC bands come and they performed after the game, and that was something they got some people to the game who probably wouldn't have came, although that was Southern against Jackson, and that's going to draw people regardless. But that brought more people. So if you need to do something like that, you just need to think outside the box to make it happen. So I hope that I know Commissioner McClellan is a forward-thinking guy, so I think they're gonna try every avenue that they can to make this tournament be successful.
That's why they need fresh blood in there, like C. Wells working in
Hey,
the.
I got some ideas, man. I don't know like any job. I always say I don't know how long I'll last, but hey, I'll take it, man. I'll be assistant to the commissioner, whatever, man. Y'all shoot me y'all ideas, and I'll run them all out there, man. Let's make the SWAC be spectacular, man. Let's just go all out. If we're gonna do it, let's do it. Let's do it big, man.
Yes, sir. That's about all I got, man.
Yeah, it's been. I was trying to think. It ain't really nothing too crazy happening right now. Hopefully, like I said, we got into our first full week of SWAC basketball. I did. Oh, like the new um the new protocol for basketball is, if you can't play, you forfeit. Prairie View 0-2 right now on the men's side. Valley women had to forfeit a game. I think this is going to impact the standings a lot because last basketball season, Prairie View and Jackson State both finished undefeated on the men's side because they didn't even play each other. So I think we'll see how that happens. So right now you got a team like Prairie View who is 0-2 in the hole right now. So I wonder how much the COVID stuff is going to impact this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be pretty tough because it's supposed to be more contagious but less lethal. So if it's just more contagious, then they probably all going to catch it at some point. Every team is going to be impacted, so to speak, at some point.
Yeah, I honestly I don't want to be too pessimistic, but I don't know, how long anything is gonna go. In Louisiana, they were pushing to stop high school sports already, so they're not gonna do it, but they were pushing for that to happen. So if stuff like that gain traction, then we'll see. But I'm not trying to look at it like that. I'm just trying to enjoy every game that we get.
Right.
So um, like I said, I don't really have anything else today. But hopefully we have a nice, entertaining week leading up to next week, and we could have us another good edition of SWAC Smoke.
Yes, sir. Appreciate everybody for tuning in.
All right, everybody. Well, we're gonna holler at y'all next week. Y'all have a good day.